It is the 20-year-old sensation from the Philippines, Alexandra Eala. Congratulations on the win. I watched that entire...
Right now, something extraordinary is happening on the clay courts of Paris, and millions of Filipinos around the world can feel it. From Manila to Toronto, from Dubai to Los Angeles, from packed watch parties to late-night live streams glowing on phone screens, one story is suddenly dominating the tennis conversation. Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko, a partnership nobody expected, a duo almost everyone overlooked, have just stepped onto one of the biggest stages in world tennis and delivered a shockwave that the sport can no longer ignore. And the most unbelievable part? Almost nobody thought they had a chance. Not the bookmakers, not the analysts, not even many longtime tennis insiders who had already predicted a comfortable victory for the experienced team standing across the net. Because on the other side stood two established names. Leylah Fernandez, a former US Open finalist, and Diana Schneider, an Olympic silver medalist in women's doubles at the Paris Games. This was supposed to be routine, predictable, another lesson delivered by experience to youth. Instead, Paris witnessed something completely different. What unfolded on the red clay of Roland Garros felt bigger than a first-round doubles upset. It felt like the beginning of a changing era, a moment where the old assumptions about who belongs at the center of global tennis suddenly stopped making sense. And the energy around this match? It did not feel like a normal doubles contest. It felt like history arriving in real time. Less than 2 weeks earlier, both Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko were carrying painful disappointments that could have broken the confidence of less resilient players. Eala's singles campaign at Roland Garros had ended earlier than many fans hoped after a difficult loss to Iva Jovic. Mboko, meanwhile, was still processing the heartbreak of coming painfully close to a title in Strasbourg before falling short against Emma Navarro in the final. Those defeats mattered, because tennis can be cruel like that. 1 week you feel unstoppable. The next, you are left questioning everything. Confidence disappears quickly in this sport, especially for young players trying to establish themselves at the highest level. But instead of retreating, both players walked directly back into the spotlight. Then the doubles draw was released. For the first time ever at a WTA main draw event, two names appeared together: Alexandra Eala, Victoria Mboko. At first glance, the pairing almost looked experimental. Interesting, maybe dangerous in flashes, but not something expected to survive deep into a Grand Slam draw. Inside tennis circles, the immediate reaction was not fear. It was sympathy, because waiting for them in the opening round stood a proven team featuring one of the sport's most recognizable young stars and an Olympic medalist who had already proven herself on these very courts. On paper, it looked unfair. But tennis has never cared about paper. And under the lights of Paris, belief started rewriting the script point by point. What many analysts completely failed to understand before the match began was the hidden history already connecting Eala and Mboko. This was not two strangers randomly sharing a court. Years earlier, they had already crossed paths as rising juniors during the 2022 US Open Girls Tournament. Back then, Alexandra Eala defeated Mboko during her run to the junior title, the same tournament that announced Eala as one of the most promising young talents in world tennis. But over time, competition evolved into familiarity. Familiarity became respect. And respect eventually became chemistry. That chemistry became impossible to ignore once the match started. From the opening games, something immediately looked different. Eala controlled the deuce side with calm precision, moving with the confidence of someone completely comfortable under pressure. Mboko took command of the ad side with explosive power, crushing returns and forcing the experienced duo into uncomfortable defensive positions. And perhaps the most surprising thing of all was how natural it looked. They moved together instinctively. They covered for each other naturally. They communicated like a partnership built over years rather than days. Across the net, the Olympic silver medalist suddenly found herself reacting instead of dictating. And that changes everything in doubles. Because once doubt enters the court, momentum becomes emotional. You could see it unfolding point by point. At first, Fernandez and Schneider appeared relaxed, almost expecting the younger team to eventually fade under pressure. But instead, the opposite happened. The more important the points became, the calmer Eala and Mboko looked. Meanwhile, tension started creeping into the favored side of the net. Forced shots, frustrated glances, small communication breakdowns. And on the other side, two fearless young players beginning to believe they could actually win. Imagine the psychological pressure from Diana Schneider's perspective. You enter Roland Garros carrying Olympic silver earned in this very city. You're expected to control the match comfortably. Then suddenly, in front of a packed crowd and a global audience, two teenagers start taking over the rhythm completely. The court begins feeling smaller. Every missed volley feels heavier. Every service game feels tighter. Every momentum swing becomes louder. And the crowd could sense it. Inside the stadium, the atmosphere transformed quickly. What began as curiosity became energy, then excitement, then something close to chaos. Filipino flags waved throughout the stands. Supporters stood between points. Chants echoed around the court every time Alexandra Eala stepped up to serve. Witnesses described the noise level growing with every game, creating an atmosphere that barely resembled a routine first-round doubles match. It felt personal, because for many fans in attendance, this was about far more than tennis. This was representation, identity, pride. Across the Philippines and throughout the Filipino diaspora worldwide, social media exploded almost instantly. The hashtag Eala and Mboko surged into trending discussions before the opening set had even finished. Watch parties in Manila filled with nervous excitement. Group chats from Toronto to Dubai to California lit up with disbelief. People who had followed Eala since her Miami breakthrough suddenly felt validated. And those breakthroughs matter, because Alexandra Eala's rise did not appear out of nowhere. For months, dedicated fans had been insisting the tennis world was underestimating her. They watched her defeat elite players in Miami. They saw her composure grow during difficult clay court battles in Rome. They recognized that her movement, mentality, and tactical maturity were developing far faster than most analysts realized. At the same time, Victoria Mboko had been building one of the most explosive rises in tennis. Barely a year earlier, she was ranked outside the world's top 300. Then suddenly, tournament after tournament, she began tearing through draws with fearless aggression and astonishing confidence until she pushed herself directly into the top-tier conversation. What happened in Paris was not random. It was the collision of two trajectories accelerating at the same time. And perhaps the most fascinating detail behind Alexandra Eala's development is the influence quietly shaping her journey behind the scenes. Rafael Nadal. There may be no voice in tennis whose opinion carries greater weight when discussing clay court mentality and greatness. 14 Roland Garros titles, 22 Grand Slam trophies, a career built on discipline, suffering, resilience, and mental endurance unlike anything the sport had ever seen. And Nadal has taken notice of Eala. In recent months, he has reportedly worked with her quietly behind the scenes, offering guidance and mentorship as she continues adapting her aggressive game to the unique demands of clay court tennis. That matters enormously, because Rafael Nadal does not casually invest his time in players he does not believe possess something special. He has watched her movement, corrected details, observed her mentality, and Eala herself has openly embraced those lessons. During the Italian Open, she said something revealing, "Anything I can take from Rafa, I'll take with pride." That sentence says everything about her mindset. It reflects humility, curiosity, and the hunger to improve constantly. Because what separates promising young players from future champions is not talent alone. It is obsession with growth. And Eala increasingly carries that mentality. You can see traces of Nadal's philosophy in the way she competes now. The refusal to panic during long rallies, the willingness to suffer physically, the emotional control during pressure moments. Those qualities were visible all over this doubles performance in Paris. Even when momentum swung, even when pressure increased, even when the experienced team attempted to respond, Eala and Mboko refused to disappear. And suddenly, the match stopped feeling like a possible upset. It started feeling inevitable. When the final points arrived, the energy inside the court became overwhelming. Every return carried tension. Every volley drew gasps. Every service game felt monumental. Then came the finish. The final shot landed. The crowd erupted. And at the center of the court, Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko embraced in a moment that felt less like surprise and more like confirmation. On the opposite side, Fernandez and Schneider quietly packed their bags, while the flags in the stands continued waving long after the handshake ended. And maybe that image captures the entire meaning of this moment. Because what is happening around Alexandra Eala right now extends far beyond rankings or individual victories. She has become the center of an emotional movement that the tennis world did not fully anticipate. The Philippines alone represents more than 100 million people. Add the enormous Filipino diaspora spread across Europe, North America, the Middle East, and Asia, and suddenly tournament organizers are witnessing something completely new. A fan base willing to travel internationally, stay awake through impossible time zones, and transform tennis crowds into something louder, more emotional, and more collective than the sport traditionally expects. Now combine that with Victoria Mboko's rapidly growing Canadian support, and the WTA suddenly finds itself staring at an emerging audience with enormous global energy. And the timing could not be more important, because women's tennis is searching for its next generation of global stars. Not just champions, personalities, movements, players capable of connecting emotionally with entirely new audiences. That is exactly why this partnership suddenly feels so important. It represents more than results. It represents the future. A future where tennis no longer belongs exclusively to its traditional power centers. A future where Southeast Asia becomes part of the sport's emotional center. A future where young girls in Manila, Toronto, Jakarta, or Dubai can watch these players and feel possibility expanding in real time. And the most exciting part? This story is still only beginning. The doubles draw at Roland Garros now looks completely different because of them. Every remaining opponent understands the danger now. Every scouting report suddenly feels more urgent. Every crowd will grow louder. And looming beyond Paris waits the rest of the season. Grass courts, Wimbledon, the US Open Series. The conversation has changed permanently. Nobody is asking anymore whether Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko belong at this level. Now the question is something much more dangerous. How far can they actually go? Can this run continue into the quarterfinals? The semifinals? Could this become a true Cinderella story charging all the way toward a Grand Slam title? That debate is officially open now. And for longtime supporters, this moment feels especially satisfying because they saw the signs early. They watched Eala's breakthrough wins in Miami. They followed Mboko's explosive rise through the rankings. They recognized the mentality, the confidence, and the fearlessness before mainstream tennis media fully caught on. Now the rest of the sport is finally paying attention. But perhaps the most important thing to remember amid all the excitement is this: neither player arrived here without struggle. Both carried disappointment into Paris. Both experienced painful losses. Both faced pressure, doubt, and expectations. Yet instead of shrinking after setbacks, they responded by becoming even more dangerous. That resilience is what makes this partnership feel real. Because belief becomes powerful only after it survives adversity. And under the lights of Roland Garros, two young players showed the world exactly what happens when talent, momentum, chemistry, and fearless ambition collide at the same time. The tennis world spent months underestimating them. Now they're sitting directly at the center of the global conversation. And millions of people around the world are watching every point. The next chapter is already unfolding. One match at a time. One crowd at a time. One statement at a time. And whether this run ends tomorrow or continues all the way through Paris, one thing already feels undeniable. Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko are no longer future stars waiting for permission to arrive. They have arrived already, and the sport is changing around them.